Who am I? Who am I? And more importantly, why does anyone care? Let's find out. The big question, who am I? And why should you care? Well, in this video I want to talk about kind of identity, really. Nothing too deep, don't worry, nothing too scary. The main thing is I'm outside again and loving the fresh air, away from my desk, out of the room, and it's beautiful, lovely, warm weather, short sleeves, it's gorgeous. Back to the main point in hand. Who am I? Now, this is not just about me. As much as I love everything to all be about me and my big ego, but who am I is more of a sort of a deeper question, meaning who am I as in what is my identity, and more importantly, in the case of sort of being online and maybe doing an online business or a business in general, who are you? Who are you in respect of your business? That's what I want to talk about today. When it comes to sort of who are you really? We have our online presence, our online profile, online sort of personality, but is that the real us? Does it have to be the real us? And does it matter if it's not? Well, when it comes down to things like business and promoting things in some way, whilst it may be fine and groovy to kind of put on this front and this situation where everything is absolutely amazing, your life is like 100% Instagram perfect, whereas it could be crumbling and falling on its arse in reality, the problem is when we promote that kind of perfect lifestyle and there's a huge disconnect between reality, it's very easy to almost start believing that. And so the problem we have with that, what's real and what's not real. And really, that's where the problems start to go, because if you start almost believe your own hype, then really you're kind of going off into sort of la-la land a bit, and what's it all about, really? Whereas if you kind of keep yourself grounded and be yourself, then you are the same person, and that's fine. So that's one aspect of it, just kind of keeping your own sanity and keeping your own personality real. But the other reason for kind of being real and being a real person, when it comes down to trust. If you do have a business and you'll promote a product or a service online, particularly online, but not necessarily online, I say online because most things are these days. Historically, when you were promoting a product or a service, you would probably just promote that product, service, or the name, and it's very unlikely that you'd be part of it. You may be if it's your name is part of the company, but all too often you don't really have a face to a big brand. If you think of, say, Dulux Paint, there's no face to that name, it's just Dulux Paint. Or Mercedes-Benz, there's no particular face, it's just a car company, an upmarket car company, but you don't really there's no particular specific person that you associate with the brand. But I think more and more, particularly with what's called influencer marketing, and it's more about personalities and sort of recommendations of products and services by people you know and ideally know, like and trust, these sort of personalities, these influencers, then that face to a brand idea is getting more and more prevalent. And so if you are promoting a business or service or product or whatever, it's becoming more and more commonplace to actually have your face associated with the brand and associated with the marketing. So it's more sort of accepted and almost more expected that you are being you, as opposed to just this sort of faceless CEO behind the scenes. So a vital part of this is when it comes to your personality, because again, if you're being this kind of alter ego in your public online persona, and then in reality behind the scenes you're a completely different person, that incongruency is going to come across to the audience and the public, and they're going to kind of feel that, even if it's often subconscious, they're going to feel that, and that's going to lead to a degree of distrust in you and therefore your product or your brand or your company, and naturally reduce sales and sign-ups or whatever it is you're doing. Because being yourself when perhaps things aren't as great and rosy and Instagram perfect as perhaps you'd like them, that is the best way to do it. Because by being yourself, by being true to you, and not talking about kind of whining on about your problems and that kind of thing, but by being real and the real person, the real you, and true to yourself and opening up and being honest, it's the easiest and quickest and fastest way, which all mean the same obviously, way of people know, liking and trusting you, because they see that you're not afraid to kind of bear all. You're not afraid to kind of go, this is me, these are my problems, and I'm inviting you into my life to share those things with me. and said, whilst that's potentially a scary idea, and I totally appreciate that not everyone perhaps feels comfortable doing that, the fact of doing that, one, it helps with they said the know, like and trust of your potential customers and audience for your products and services, but also oddly it's a very freeing and cathartic experience for you. And I'm speaking 100% from personal experience, because I make no no secret of the fact that I've suffered with mental illness at all, and it's out there in the sort of public domain, if you like, on my channel and on my website and Facebook, etc. And there's something kind of freeing about this, because there's no kind of dark secrets. I'm just being me, and I can be myself whenever. And I've said this many times, I'm exactly the same in real life as I am on here. There's literally no difference at all, and that is very, very freeing. I don't have to put on a front. I don't have to kind of make a big effort to be sort of, you know, my YouTube personality. I'm literally the same person, good and bad. I seem to be wandering into some huge kind of dark wood. I've got to say, it's ridiculously dark now. I think it's probably too dark, so I'll probably need to come to a lighter place. But the idea is still basically the same, that being yourself, being open and really upfront about, you know, everything really, then one, they're sort of the haters or whatever have kind of got no ammunition or anything like that, because you've put it out there, you've said what the issues are, and that's it. There's nothing to really hate on, because you've been so open. But as I said, the benefits are huge. What, you know, feeling very free, and said it's a lovely feeling to kind of just think, well, it's out there now. And also the fact that people feel then they know you more because you've opened up, and because so few people do this, to be honest, so few people do open up, and particularly if you've got those kind of issues, it's very sort of unusual, and it's kind of nice when people see that. And you know, I found that when I've seen people open up, I'm thinking, wow, it's quite unusual, and it's nice because you feel, like I said, like you feel like you know them, and that's hugely powerful when you do have an online brand or a product or service or something like that, because that know, like and trust is one of the hardest things to get. And if you can do it by literally just being yourself, I mean, that's the easiest thing. It's almost like the lazy man's marketing. Be yourself. Whilst it may be counterintuitive because you want to appear to be this professional kind of successful person, but actually being yourself and talking about your struggles, and you know, you're sort of like myself, I'm rebuilding my business and kind of taking it along step by step, then you kind of you're getting the right people and real people to kind of come into your world, because people who actually care, one, and people who sort of like you for being you rather than some Instagram, YouTube personality. You're actually real people, and these are the people who are going to be sort of solid foundation for a business or, you know, service or whatever you're doing. And so the benefits are 100-fold. That's a number I'm going to put out there. I don't even know, 100-fold. Is that a thing? Yeah, probably. So this is completely out of thing. I've ditched my Manfrotto tripod, or Manfrotto, however you want to pronounce it. I know it's probably Manfrotto in Italian. It's perfect. I went for that because of a Casey Neistat review of GorillaPods, and whilst everyone uses a GorillaPod for vogging, no one uses a GorillaPod for vogging. Even though everyone uses a GorillaPod, for fuck's sake. Take two. Everybody uses a GorillaPod for vlogging, and he sort of said some issues he had with it falling over and stuff. So I went for the Manfrotto, and it's been amazing. But what I've got now is this tripod, which, to be honest, I'll be bluntly honest, I got this off eBay for like £5 or something ridiculously cheap. One, it's super light, it's really, really lightweight, it extends decently high, and yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ideal. And I'm using that as a kind of vlogging tripod because it doesn't weigh any more than a GorillaPod would, and I've got the options of kind of extending it and putting it down and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, it's perhaps not as sexy as a GorillaPod that everyone uses, but at the end of the day, does that really matter? As long as it's function and it does exactly what I want, you know. And let's be honest, holding a camera on a tripod / selfie stick type thing is going to make your arm ache after a while, and this does equally. And it's only a GX7 that I'm using. I'm not even using like a 5D. But it's the difficult world of a daily vlogger, having to put up with pain in your arm holding a camera. Yeah, life is truly, truly brutal. tell you.
Later that same evening.
Back to the original point of who am I? This is me. I'm me. I don't even know what to say now, because so much of it is out in the open of who I am and what I do. But yeah, who am I is not necessarily just about me. It's about a sort of a bigger question of more like, who are you? Do people know who you are, really? And if you are online with a business or promoted something, I'm not talking about just having a Facebook profile or anything like that, but if you're doing anything online that you want to get people to kind of show interest in, whether it's a YouTube channel or a business or something like that, being you, being the real you and letting people into your world, good and bad, has huge benefits. And so you really think about the sort of the things you portray on your online persona, and I really would recommend kind of making your online persona exactly the same as your real life persona, so there's just one person. It's easier, it really is. It takes less effort, you're just being you, and there's no pretense, there's no and then when people meet you, and often people are so surprised, and like, you're actually like that, like, because they expect you to be completely different to your online personality, and it's just too much effort. I'm perhaps too lazy to actually have this weird kind of made up life. I'm just me, and I think that's one, it makes life a lot easier, but also just makes it more genuine and better, I think, for the world if we're all much more real. There we go. So that's all for today. I hope you really got some value from this. If you have, make sure you hit that like button so it's nice and blue, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it, and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video, which is every day UK evening time. But for now, in this beautiful, peaceful time, I will say goodbye. See you tomorrow. Bye.